Yankutuna nasio nyamenono. Yanana se wa maya tamfuate shoko. Hey, dear wine, dear no. Wayama na yamenwanwa. Hey, wayama na timwae. Atamfuate shoko. Ghana for me, the unbreakable joy is blessing. Oh, share HRETV. Kosuana she. Now be inshira unbreakable. Keep it locked.
Check the statistics. What from beaucoup d'État on my big six. We remove all the girls logistics. You want here top speed Olympics. Yo, what up, people? It's your boy Natalie, and I'm watching HRETV, man. Keep it locked. Badman operator.
Hello, guys. It's your girl Pamela Odame Watara, and I just want to recommend HRETV for you guys for all your latest interviews. Just stay tuned at HRETV. I love you guys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching me live on HRETV. His Royal Majesty. Oh my goodness, I love the name of this TV. HRETV. Oh my goodness. Just catch us live on YouTube. Just go there, HRETV, and click subscribe, and then get updates on everything that they put there, and then watch them also live on Facebook. When you hear the name HRTV, you are talking about television that comes from the heart. Oh, HRTV. Oh, makuma tomi emwati. Me that one say. Good morning, children. A B C D E F G H R E HRETV. Go and watch HRETV. Bye bye.
Yankutuna nasio nyamenono. Yanana se wa maya tamfuate.
Oh, hello, people. My name is Calibos. The only boss. Oh, wait, what else? Have you heard? Wait, do you know that TAPTAP Send is live in Texas? Oh, you didn't know? We went to New York. Now we are live in Texas. So people in Texas and around, all you have to do is to download TAPTAP Send. Yes, TAPTAP Send has become the most unique, secure, and fast way of sending money across the world to your loved ones anywhere. Okay, so download TAPTAP Send on Google Play Store or App Store. And when you're in Texas or around, you just have to put in the code TXGH. What did I say? TXGH. And you get $10 for your first transaction you make. Mahama media, Texas, you drew ho. Very soon we'll conquer everywhere. Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play and App Store. TAPTAP Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hello. You're from the Calibos, the only boss. Oh, wait, what is New York for more, America for more. Tap in tea, may cheer yourself and then in my bedroom, New York City, say, sometime. Some money here, your most reliable, fast, secured money transfer app. Your TAPTAP Send about New York City. Ne san say ye near 3 years ye muntino. Ya pesi a boy customers phone now. Ni say wunti TAPTAP Send the new feature be abeka ho be boa na bon ho ban a protect you. Na so wo send ni sika ye hu nipa a wo send ni. Nti ano no wo be ko app no so no upload o passport ana say o driver's license ana say o resident permit card. Who upload here? Yes, Ramo. No say twa selfie ka crazy aka ho. Na so twa wi a ebe boa ma TAPTAP Send. Be hu nipa ko a o send sika every wo account ni mu e wo TAPTAP Send app no so. Boa yen ni emboa wo. TAPTAP Send. It's secure, it's fast, and it's convenient everywhere. Baby.
Ebusia for the adofo ye babu nyina akwa abakese eba TAPTAP Send eso bosom for HRPK me mama kwaba ebiom bibi bia wo ho bia ho nchia egese na bede ma wo sabre yi se wo Ghana anase bia wo English abrochime mu se wo Asia anase bia USA Canada ho nchia na bede ma wo se ya no pa me se maajo se ewia me se maha enwumre a me se anopa me se maachi ewia maha enwumre a me se maajo Sabre, be GD pass a 1 pomo ye. moja redi wo mofro sane ana tacheba so da boduse mu se sa de te de mehira se se egua na afi de fra wo nua na wonya so fra ni nia de nyina ye bodom pem e wa HITV na dwumedi a ya to de say time with TAPTAP send ye de bra wo dwume hyehyehi na afi de ba wo bobo ano ye no nua no wadofo nyina akabom aye ne kabakaba sabia me de asira kese pa piesie pantala butel de podo da so ema aboafo aso ya sene de dwumedi e bra mo a be kan na be patch say Blanding spoke suit that is a suit papa not to say a man da wo ho say your wedding say your engagement say your event bia the only thing on money suit for a divorce party but they can nyina no be suit about papa Blanding spoke say from mo bespoke say from mo 0555 927 378 na enyo mo ending kita ho na mo be suit kaba pa man da ho na wo so si dwoma wa your besima wa your be makinka Saso na mesa so ka wo biom says I will pay papa adem na afi de bibia akokama ya look no further but feel good homes to say one more affordable houses for your price o price any say sanitary na from bo hu say obo numbers ni de fidie so a twes pe de from na no mudi nkita ho na afi de ho bia no mo fa entutu dwama obo so wo dan ni bia omo tonton say o pe 2-bedroom apartment bia ton dia o be ben bia ma kama na wo be bia yi wo is Legon Hills I only from is Cafa Mountain. Pentem de cope be one, but don't for being a canasa, was this a menya Islego as Asianto, that's a menya Islego Hills as Asianta, Meto Hodai, into Conocope Hodaito, and I say Conoco rent to say Airbnb, Nabibia, and ye Kamakaba. Now Miss Aswaka will be on pa say, Ope, Sikamani, Krabata, ye did faso esanisika echo Ghana. Or Herbia knew at a 2 beard home, and I say, Bia, with Tibu were coming. Waso menenti ana waso masere we di misika of di misika sa asem ni nyopse ni na tutwa eno ane TAPTAP sen imrania ye jeso say papa no it's not misaso aka obi say secured fast and reliable rate no so de home kama sabre ye ba be hye dwumedi na ase na dwumedi ye ba be hye ase no ye say time with TAPTAP sen na topic ye di tudwa na menu mienu ye bobo hu ne doso ni adwedwe hu nyina no or say the effect of obstructive sleep apnea. Or people say any sleep apnea. In Brand Swan, Dr. Stephen Edu Yabua or ye special guest, any a better chenkomo. No why watch that chain, you may be some yatiasie. Near we are none you will be anno. Ye diabram in there, near coach call Barbara Menano, ye backo one in your ano say. Kurobiso bolano, na fide ye kajatu munyashino. Na jibibia na fide ye we are, ye femo bapa. Sabre. You be calling the director David or ye USA director USA Canada director for TAPTAP Senator Atwetwe Nkomo na news updates be wo bia no or their mind and I say bia good news be wo bia no or their mind Director David ma kwa ba eba dwumedi so Director Atemeka that's it.
Bring a friend, tell a mate. If you see about that, want to discuss issues, say, PK has been kind enough to bring on immigration lawyers, the real estate about. Last week we went to the career path about. PK mental health and I'm about.
Yeah, the mental health so about pain.
Yeah, mental health about. And Tibacho asked every week, I don't go for Bani. Mufanko from Brian who said, okay, these are some of the issues you'd like for us to tackle. We'll try to go find a speaker to come and speak more expansive on it. Now if you say, oh, Sebi, we need a boy in community because they be in here community in Mr. Son. So that's one thing that I'm going to lead with. Second part, and say, again, the new America. Into one, so let's continue the same growth as we continue to push throughout the years. PK, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm excited to hear the doctor speak. I'm sure he has a lot to say, and I'm going to do a lot of listening. So PK, right back to you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Director David Nietzen and Canon. Beyond me, Mamuna Kwaba Kesepa, Ebajibidi for the time way TAPTAP said. This show is here to stay into the Mr. Answer the bit of money CP Esitano. This is a new United shares up amongst you. Near Kaya Sissu, Nafi dear. Ye bri emoji in imagine dear Cosso, into the sun and your Mr. on us for Unia, now you are so Feninia. And yes, I eventually never be brain. In Pempino, no, obeti say no chika, and no film would die with a split of a second. Wada panyai or the question become one accident. In Pempi, obeti say, hey, no wada, and no choke ye. Well, no being in chair, bet me a one resuscitating and after the waba back to him. In Pempi, obeti is a quawe dear, or contra meeting as ya, no co parliament, now order, honorable widow pen now, honorable widow open now, and your honorable should have pen nasa, and I say be a new ninny and our two honorable. But no, and any none a be on my yare. Na ni nyina ne san komo ne ba behwe ne sabe obo on mobo so ne kasa na adwene kokra de dada nya wo kakra na otie san komo no ene ba bedi ne de enti besrew munye kok for quick commercial break nye nkwohwe se Texas aba abonti mem abi abonti so na US abrochi mem ye ni agira ye bo se esrehe no ye kwohwe Texas commercial de ba pe no na ne wo hobia no ye da hyehyɛ so ma ho me da mase.
Oh, hello, people. My name is Calibos. The only boss. I'll wait to others. Have you heard? Wait, do you know that TAPTAP Send is live in Texas? Oh, you didn't know? We went to New York. Now we are live in Texas. So people in Texas and around, all you have to do is to download TAPTAP Send. Yes, TAPTAP Send has become the most unique, secure, and fast way of sending money across the world to your loved ones anywhere. Okay, so download TAPTAP Send on Google Play Store or App Store. And when you're in Texas or around, you just have to put in the code TXGH. What did I say? TXGH. And you get $10 for your first transaction you make. Mahama media, Texas, you drew very soon we'll conquer everywhere. Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play and App Store. TAPTAP Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Yo, say what hama wo de e wo Texas dia na me catch say promo code yusu na sabre no anytime bia wo be send sika bia no e HRE and now the promo code na shame na wo nya wo sika na wo extra bonus on your first transaction. Mr. Mama Refi, because Refi na certified so dia pa ho ade safe. Sabre Dr. Steven Eduyeboa. Yamo akwaba eba HITV. So jumedi aya to the time with TAPTAP Send. Doctor, yamo akwaba.
Yeah, mini Paul to say.
Yamiado bia wo kona so e.
Yeah, do more.
Ya jumedi no eya eta eye English. Also nim say twi ne de how pa why say your director monti twi papa into the misraw e wo ma now the twi no afefe mama we kwado betima no English ne English and Italian ya de abom into wetim dia fra maye Dr. Steven Eduyeboa ye wo kra onye bilingual we multilingual into no was also a certified board sleep apnea sleep medicine specialist at Mercy Hospital, Mercy Health at Cincinnati, Ohio. Na doc you be my man so alongside actually na sika kana fidie they will be an that was doc. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and also what you do. Now fidie we are going to the overview of sleep apnea.
Okay, if Ghana. So I'm a Ghanaian, American, Italian. I never really became Italian citizen, but I grew up in Italy. If Ghana, I'm a D4, and I spent 14 years in Italy, and so I've been in the US now for the past 20 plus years, 21 years. I'm currently married with my beautiful wife Bernice, and I have two wonderful children, Joel and Zachary. Near to Cincinnati, near Columbus, and then before that near Youngstown. To say no, our new home is the city of Cincinnati, at least north of Cincinnati. Now, many Pauls know we go way back for like at least 15 years, if not more.
About 17, 18 years.
So, yeah.
Wow, Doc, that's it. Thanks for letting us know a little bit about you. Right now, no, in your baby, obi better kidney, obi better stroke, obi better say. But this is a problem, and mental health, but this is a problem, and most people do not talk about it. See, I can't sleep apnea. I know cramp on sleep apnea. No. I know cramp on a day. Can you tell us a little bit and give us an overview of sleep apnea, the causes, the symptoms, and also the treatment of sleep apnea? Now the area, the question. About good 10 minutes. Just let us know a good overview about sleep apnea. The area now there 1 or 2 questions been busa. Now the area best be the entire viewership. So busa question. Apparently right now we are live on Facebook, TAPTAP Send Ghana. We are live on Facebook, HRTV, live on YouTube, HRTV, and also we have active listeners also and watchers or viewers also watching you at the moment on Zoom. Into the Misrao area, you may be at the far end, you may be a floor number viewers to also ask questions about what they want to ask, and we'll read some comments as well. It's just give us a little overview of what sleep apnea is about.
Okay, so is it okay if I share my screen real quick?
Yes, please. You can share your screen.
Okay. I want you to move my screen.
Yes.
All right, excellent. So, also specialized in sleep medicine, and so that's for the past 5 months. That's what I've been doing full time. I was doing primary care and sleep. Now I'm doing only sleep medicine. Now I can't sleep medicine. By the way, before I can't sleep medicine, I just want you to understand. Say, nyame be share no honey evidence-based medicine. So a medicine yes who say based on the evidence, we in I will say from a health standpoint, but at the same time, I work for Bon Secure Mercy Health, but I'm not representing them right now. But some what I say, opinions stated in this presentation are my own opinion, and advice I demand to say a general advice into say any specific problem, and make sure so you consult your own medical provider and also your own primary care. And then lastly, no, I don't have any conflict of interest. And since I can't sleep medicine, a branch of medicine that dealing with diagnosing and treating sleep disorders. Now, out of these sleep disorders, when I think said, young Ghana for no, we don't do too well in focusing on our sleep problems. Now, these sleep disorders is all here. Insomnia, sleep apnea are very common. And these are the things that I deal with most of the times. Now, I can't sleep apnea. What are we talking about? And I just want to give, again, a brief overview. This is a disorder that is characterized by obstructive apnea. So you can't apnea. Apnea, to see, we are breathing. Yeah, you are breathing. Whenever the term apnea comes up, you're not breathing. You stop breathing. Now this, it tends to happen at night. And when it happens many times, say you stop breathing. The reason I would breathing is there is some kind of obstruction, and I said there's some kind of collapse of your upper airway. Term, obstructive sleep apnea. That's what we are referring to. Say, wada but and then you start breathing again, and then you stop breathing, and then you stop breathing again. Now all these, it leads to some problems. And if we were to do a survey, it could be say you take from your spouse, and I say your bed partner, they are struggling to breathe sometimes. UTBBSA is not something to be taken lightly. Now, the question is, who does this problem affect? This country, USA, for the most part, it looks like it affects a mama 3 times more than a ma. Now, it affects more obesity. Say your BMI is above 30 now, you have a higher risk of having this problem. Again, so the more now you're increasing the risk of having this problem. And unfortunately, before we have a higher prevalence of having sleep apnea. Say they compare Amrofua. Even when you compare Tuntum ni Mrofua, they have the same weight. We compare now your comparison Tuntum Fono have a higher rate of sleep apnea. It's you can't risk factors nobody can kind of say so we are bema. But on interest we're younger, to me I don't know interest you're younger. There are many young people that are diagnosed in my office. We are bema, you have a higher risk. Again, also interest man to me, and we are obese, you have a higher risk. Even if you're skinny, you could have it, but obesity increases the risk. In a binum or more some facial shape and anatomy, it increases their risk of having this problem. If you have a black race, as we talked about, smoking, or be our family history, or be our tanya congestion when you or more higher risk. And also more high blood pressure, more a you'll be surprised how many people are cardiologists. Almost send the say, may evaluate some more sleep apnea because I diagnose someone with heart failure, and I say atrial fibrillation, and I say a kidney disease, and I say all these problems. It's OSHA sleep apnea is tied with a lot of chronic diseases yet about most of the time. So sleep apnea, we don't hear too much about that, but we hear about heart failure, we hear about a lung disease, we hear about kidney disease, but we hear about diabetes. Are very tightly connected with sleep apnea. Symptoms, better one who say be or sleep apnea. Daytime, what you during the day, maybe I will call about the business or juma and also will fear whatever. And so that's number one sign. Secondly, or that was snoring aloud pa almost they have a very high risk. Obinsu or ha senior medical kind abia wona etu no so nipa crowd down China no better say I said there bre home no you're struggling to breathe, you stop breathing, and I said it means sometimes or no why sound bisa ni no signs of potential sleep apnea. Other symptoms obi or high be about 6-7 hours in no or sorry still I will feel listening and enough obi or ha and ajuno obet move sa constantly moving, tossing and turning obi or ha or sorry or headache and opa obi nso or ha untumi na ese odwene se okodana se kodana no nya kodana per se. It could be say a obstructive sleep apnea. You know, being so how when you enquire na it can manifest by the fact say or Johnson or Johnson, and that could be a sign say and yet Johnson per se a problem or sleep apnea boy quarantine to mean sorry so we use the bathroom but bibinya no na the crying no many times at night near sleep apnea. It's this is essentially the gist of it. Now the way so we'll be somebody like me in the office now, what you will see in the set, we will do a sleep study. You analyze we saw a question page shows some of the questions we saw say what is likely, how likely is it so over if you are sitting and reading, if you're watching TV, if you're in a public place, if you're lying down just to rest, if you're talking to someone, how likely is it say with all these questions, you will fall asleep. It's, say, who based on your symptoms, based on your history, say, it could be, say, you have sleep apnea, then we'll do a sleep study. And a sleep study, I bet you and say, oh, sleep apnea, I say, we need sleep apnea. Now, sleep apnea, chronic, different levels. And you're mild, moderate, and severe. When person call and you move too much, the information on here now too much. You say, many pause, questions be or whole, and some twaso regarding treatment now.
Oh, you can proceed into it.
It's my procedure. Okay, so you are mild, moderate, and severe, and so depending on the severity, we have different goals of treatment. So the number one goal to treat sleep apnea, and it says, so we will be as needy can kind, uta, we need to kuma, especially senior mini apo, a year example, say, many people have motor vehicle accidents. I wouldn't say be a C, but many of them, a nana, a fan, and in a split second, ended up into an accident. It's, the goal for treating sleep apnea, and they say, it could be say chrono or this problem, there's a higher risk, so being an accident. So the goal is to improve quality of sleep and to reduce daytime sleepiness. That's the most important goal with treating sleep apnea. The second goal, they say, this problem is connected with many other heart problems and many other problems, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and things like that. And to know, the goal of treatment is that the data shows that who treat sleep apnea now, it can reduce the risk of having these other problems. Stroke, your name say common even among young Ghana for. Sometimes it is sleep apnea that are associated with stroke. And so you're trying to take care of your blood pressure, you're trying to take care of your diabetes, you're trying to take care of all these other things. And so a bad sleep apnea it could be said that's the one thing that needs to be treated. And then number 3, this is one issue I said, obi online so na say we truck driver and I say or we airline pilot and also drive bus. This is a required test, especially senipa chrono or overweight. The Department of Transportation, the government, requires you to be evaluated. Say, do you have sleep apnea or not? Because if you have it now, you are required to be treated in order to do your job. And yes, sir, you will lose your job. And I've had many patients come in to see me because it was required by the Department of Transportation. And some of them, their job was on the line. And that's another reason you're treating this disease. Now, treatment, this is very common among people who are overweight or obese. And weight loss is the most effective treatment. Problem I want to say, for most people, weight loss, and easy. It's difficult. But losing weight, it will increase your chances of resolving or of curing sleep apnea, or even reduce the risk of developing sleep apnea in the future. Positional therapy is another treatment option. And positional therapy, so we will be if you sleep on your back, now the most during that position, then positional therapy is aiming at keeping you off your back, on your side instead of now, when you lie on your side, you have less snoring, less chances of having sleep apnea in that sense. It's also another thing that sometimes we offer. So be sleep apnea is serious, we can offer that sometimes. But when the sleep apnea is severe now, more than that needs to be done. For some people, oral appliance, this is something done by some dentists that can build an appliance or and not a bois, because what it does is that it moves the mandible forward and frees up space in the back of the throat. And the mainstay, the most common treatment, the most effective treatment in here is CPAP therapy. Now, take this term. If you didn't know what it meant, now CPAP stands for continuous airway pressure, continuous positive airway pressure. And it is the best treatment for sleep apnea because you soon frama to keep the airway open when you're sleeping. Airway now close too much, and at the same time, it stops. They keep breathing, and it treats effectively the problem of sleep apnea. And there's some kind of surgeries, only a surgery. Usually, we don't talk about surgery unless the first 4 options have tried or have been tried already. And some of the pictures, the brief summary, these are some of the pictures. So here, nipa chrono, one of the hano say, I didn't bought nimuno. I say a belt, and it has a pouch. this pouch no na esi no kwan say ontumi nda nechi so, and it prevents him from sleeping on his back. This is another example. This is what we call positional therapy. You can't see papna. This is what we're referring to. It's a machine that sends air into your airway, into the ubasha mask. Mask, there are different shapes. Most people say we not mask we not no a mask also be used. No, and there are smaller masks like this one or this one. This is the best treatment for sleep apnea for those who can tolerate having this thing. And this is an example of the machine. Machine will look like this. It's really see or nightstand or so, and then it will send air through this tube into the mask, and this is the most effective treatment for sleep apnea. And this is an example of oral appliance, we know is done by dentists that we are certified in sleep apnea. And yet dentists be and they will measure your teeth and build this thing out. And it can treat your sleep apnea. Thank you for your time. The brief presentation of Abaria. Open for questions.
All right, Doc. Very good presentation. First of all, I say, so with me breaking it down, so am I? But who make a statement? Me say the CPAP machine is the most effective treatment for sleep apnea. When do you know, say, the CPAP machine doesn't work anymore, so now you have to go for surgery? Because after the surgery is the one after that, right? Doc,
yes,
you me on share where am I? You like you can thank you. All right. Yep. So when do you know, say like at this point, we have to go for surgery?
That's a really good question. So surgical treatment is never the first option. So CPAP, as you can imagine, first of all, insurance makes a big difference, right? And is the way our medicine America everything is driven by insurance. And so what good insurance are, surgery will be an option. So what bad insurance coming from is what Medicaid sleep CPAP all insurances will cover it because the data is very clear, say it's the best treatment.
So is it better than having a surgery?
It is more effective than having surgery. And let me explain why. So surgery, there are two different kinds for the most part. See, a call back to 30 years ago. 30 years ago, if you were diagnosed with sleep apnea, there was no CPAP, and okay, let me say 40 years ago, there was no CPAP. And so what they would do is say, okay, if the problem is your airway, and to get to the root of the problem. And so they will remove a friend of uvula. So we are obia ban enuma.
Like a bean shape bisano.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So they will remove that, and then they will remove the part of the roof of your mouth. It's called soft palate. And then part of your tongue, the base of your tongue and the back of your throat. They will do this to tighten things up and free up space in the back of the throat, which sounds like it's the best treatment in theory. But the reality is that a lot of these patients, even some of the patients that I see in my office, a lot of them eventually if they gain weight again, and I say if many years pass by, for some reason, sleep apnea comes back. And so, then it makes the surgery not worth it because this is a very painful surgery. Meaning, say, if you met anybody that has gone through removal of tonsils, removal of tonsils, it's something that it can put you through pain for a whole month after surgery. Now, this one is not just tonsils; it's tonsils plus part of your tongue, plus your uvula, plus the soft palate. It will make you miserable. Now I am miserable, sir, not knowing, say, in 5-10 years, it could be, say, this sleep apnea will come back. It's, that's what makes it not ideal. And that's what makes CPAP still the better option because of that. When you said, I don't know, make sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Another question on is there any case whereby sleep apnea can cause brain injury and also brain damage. Because say na what can say if home see now, that means to say it can be at a point whereby inframa and co-widening and it's like it can cause I mean I don't know. I'm just between the about me. So I was like, let me go ahead and ask you if that could be a possibility.
So that's a really good point. We know, sir, there is a strong association with stroke. How that happens, is not that clear. It could be sustainable volcano because one homia, and then from 1% oxygen is not getting into your brain, right? And so we know, sir, there is a strong association with stroke. And unfortunately, I've had many patients, they come to see me after they have had stroke. And only God knows, say, Bianca, if we had detected the sleep apnea before someone stroke, Bianca stroke. And that's one thing. And then recently we found some strong connection with Alzheimer's disease, dementia. And so this is a recent discovery, and we've seen, say, for many patients that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, now almost our sleep apnea too. I think studies to see, say, is treatment of sleep apnea beneficial? Does it make any difference? Meaning, say, we will be a dementia will be Alzheimer's will be That's it. You find out, say, at a young age, who sleep apnea, that's a treat. Does that decrease the chance of you getting Alzheimer's or not? And I said, what developing early stages of Alzheimer's are? Does treatment of sleep apnea decrease the chances of the Alzheimer's getting worse too fast? And to the many questions that we are trying to answer, but you're absolutely right. There is some connection between sleep apnea and the brain health from a stroke standpoint, and recently we found from a dementia standpoint.
That's it. That's it. Where some now come. I mean, sleep apnea has always been a thing where it be before baby and for your koso. So you coming from the African background, Ghanaian community, though, what makes you pursue into a specialty? What do you say before baby is almost a moment join the clientele, no, and the mamunya more money. So why was a man for a year? Cancer, a man for a year way surgery, a man for your plastic surgery for the edgy door, no? And all the stuff. Why do you go to a very peculiar specialty? It's actually very unique and not too common or accepted by the African and Ghanaian community, no?
That's another good question.
Is this a way to broadcast it for us to let us know, say, this is something serious for us to really take seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a couple of reasons. One, they said when I did my undergrad, a mission respiratory therapy, and part of our training was to learn about sleep disorders and to know that was my first exposure to this. But the second reason, they said, so share medicine, there are many different fields in our kind. So why go to a field where everybody is going to and not go to a field that it's unknown for most people? And so job security wise, you're set because most people don't even know about this field. But then the most important reason is sleep apnea and sleep disorder. And yes, sleep apnea, there's insomnia. And unfortunately today, we don't have time to talk about that too. But sleep disorders, especially sleep apnea, lies at the root of a lot of problems. And so akumayari, and I say you have a high risk of akumayari, or diabetes, or hypothyroidism, or blood pressure. All these things can be tied to sleep apnea. Depression, it can be tied to it. It's it's a field that it seems like it's very narrow. It seems that it's very unknown, but the reality is it's connected to everything else when it comes to health. And so to me, it's in a way, it's an unknown field, but it's actually one of the most important fields. And we get referrals from cardiologists, from lung doctors, and from brain doctors all the times.
Okay, maybe so last two questions. Now, if you be a floor for some Q&A from your comment sections, right? until the because first the starting with some questions no you be reading Zoom comments no na we are your Facebook na read Facebook comments we are reading YouTube comments now if you open the floor for those on Zoom to actually raise their hands and talk. But who said Kwame Ken already got his hand up, so Kwame Ken, when we go to the Zoom comments that you'll be the first to call. But before we go to the comments, no neighbor really commenting on maybe say me busawo. So with that being said, with sleep apnea no, if you have it not say when taking treatment and now okay wako CPAP machine no you have it but you're not really going forth with it now. What can be the end goal for a patient to know? I mean, I'm not saying to scare us, but just be honest with us. Say we want to understand the severity because I know people that have sleep apnea, right? But they don't take it seriously. We still they breathe, we'll be fine. Everything will be fine. But what can be the end goal if we do not take treatment seriously?
So the problem with sleep problem is that, and I think so people say a question is that how do you measure it, right? And the reason I want to say Ghana for no before in general, and yet bibia is see when importing you're not taking it seriously. And you know, if it's not something that you can measure, say, oh, blood pressure, hey, my blood pressure and I'm 150. And you know, you can see it with your eyes, it's not good. And you know, hey, yeah, let me be serious with my medications and let me be serious with my exercise and my diet. When it comes to sleep, you know, there is no way to quantify the severity of your problem unless you do a sleep study. And you know, maybe why you sleep study in I diagnose you with sleep apnea, but you think say your sleep is not that bad. The reality in this there are two outcomes that can come from this. It's similar to smoking, for example. We have people that smoke and they can live until they are 90, right? But we also have people that smoke and they will not live past 50. Mm-hmm. They'll have a heart attack, they'll have a stroke, they'll have something, or they'll have lung cancer, or they'll have something like that. It's, you know, I make use one as an example, say, it could be, say, you have sleep apnea your entire life and you'll be fine, and you don't treat it and you'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But it could also be, say, this will lead to blood pressure that is difficult to treat. This will lead to heart failure. This will lead to atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation, yeah, one of the heart problems is very closely tied with sleep apnea. Atrial fibrillation, yeah. So instead of say with the regular rhythm, no, mm-hmm. It's going at irregular intervals,
irregular heartbeat,
beating at irregular heartbeat, and that can lead to stroke in a different way. Now you can see sleep apnea can be tied with stroke directly and also indirectly through atrial fibrillation. And you know, all these things, you know, risk factors are, and I said there are potential consequences that can happen if the sleep apnea goes untreated. Again, there's a chance that you'll be fine, but it's a risk.
Okay.
And there's a chance to which all these problems here.
All right.
Dr. Stephen, quick question to add to before Kwame, I asked the question in the group, so how do you measure it, right? Because to say in North we have the Apple Watch, the Whoop, there's like a plethora of devices on to track it, right? My question is two parts. One, I don't need to endorse a product on Amazon on a BBC, right? But more importantly, can you describe the different levels of sleep and how you feel, right? Because a lot of times, I can't speak for anybody else. Boy, how to me double or no operate, right? Or maybe your was it REM, rapid eye movement stage? Mm-hmm. Can you go deeper? Explain to me what types of sleep? And somebody in the group chat was looking. I said, I think as you describe it, perhaps you can ask that question around like night, the body clock. If you could go deeper, that would be great.
Okay, so there is So let me explain. So this can be addressed in many different ways. So let me explain when we talk about good sleep health, right? Good sleep. So what determines our sleep? There are two factors, two processes that your name said affect your sleep. One is circadian rhythm, which is your body clock. Your body clock, I say your clock could be within each person, which is roughly 24 hours for everybody. Now, sa clock, it resets, it goes in cycles. So every 24 hours, it resets. For most people, essentially, this is somehow dictated also by melatonin. It drew about 9, 10 p.m. Our body secretes melatonin, and then it makes us feel sleepy. And then we might go to sleep. And then in the morning, if we get up, then the melatonin production comes down, both naturally and also with bright light, because light, suppresses melatonin production. And then the cycle starts again the next night. And this is how the circadian rhythm, and I said the body clock works. But that is not the only factor that determine your sleep. There's also something we call sleep drive. Sleep drive is something that we actually have more control over. And the sleep drive, if I can make an analogy, we can call it also sleep debt. How much debt are you accumulating throughout the day, so that by the time it's bedtime, by the time I will reach a point, I will say at 9 p.m. or say at 10 p.m. or say 11 p.m. Now or debt, at the highest. So dika as much as possible. In this case, a car a good car. Now, how do we make sure we increase the sleep drive? There are a few things. Number one, expose yourself to bright light. Whether naturally, in this season, it's easier, but in the winter it's hard. So natural bright light is good, but there's also something called bright light box. Or Amazon, they have many different forms. The prices can vary from $30 to $200. You don't need the expensive ones. All you need is 10,000 lumens. And it's a box to be, almost looks like an iPad, and the size of an iPad. What I recommend people to do is say, so do breakfast or whatever you're doing for the first 30, 45 minutes of your morning, put it in front of you. That's going to help increase your sleep drive. The second thing that you can do to increase your sleep drive is to be physically active during the day. The more active you are, the more sleep debt you're accumulating, the more sleep drive you have. The third thing that you can do is to minimize or avoid naps at all, because naps, decreases the sleep drive a little bit. And so if you can think of this as, example, so imagine you're blowing into a balloon. Picture this with me. You're blowing into a balloon. Your goal is by the time and you na balloon a blower to the point say ebe pie. So how do you do that? Bright light can help blow it fast. What else? Physical activity can help you blow it fast. What else? Avoiding naps, because you know what happens when you are napping. As you are blowing the balloon, you nap and it deflates a little bit. It's what deflating on by the time I will do so, not inflate as much as you could. And then the last thing that you can do to improve your sleep drive is also not to go to bed too early. And this is only applying for people that have insomnia. Within the one here, it will be a different topic. And these are the things you can do to really improve your sleep. These are the things factors that affect our sleep. How do you know, say you're spending a lot of time in stage 1, stage 2, are you getting enough deep sleep, like stage 3 sleep? Stage 3 sleep, important to help recover for medical, I say strength recovery. We have physical exercise. It helps with the recovery from that. And REM sleep is very important for brain and memory consolidation. And how do you know, say you've had enough of these? On the end, there is no way to measure it. So we have some, David Kino, there are some wearable devices like Apple Watch, Fitbit, or some other devices they can give you an idea. But even those, so we'll share the tools they're using to measure those now is not the most accurate, but it's a good indication. And so if you follow those things that we mentioned about improving your sleep drive now, to me, without seeing a sleep doctor, you're increasing your best chance. You're giving yourself the best chance to sleep. And then if you have more problems there, then you can come see me.
All right, Doc, and I think so. You've really made some good points and some good breakdowns on everything that is going on. But yeah, man, yeah, chef for no so chance, no so some questions. But before I call on them, no, you can read the comments. Kakra, that feel the proceeding from there. I think Dr. David questioned why I answered that into the main call that side, you know. But on Zoom, no. And BB, every response is exactly my question, especially for we night shift workers. It's, you know, I kind of that say. And Monica Sobeka said, what about those working at night? I think so we're breaking also down in terms of sleep clock. I mean, body clock down, body sleep clock down. And Doi Dadon, so say, very insightful, Doctor. Thank you very much for this information. I think the young Facebook, young ready what we have, on Facebook, though. Yeah, Facebook, though, Professor Kenchi is a great topic, PK, Prophet that said. And Kobdabos was interested. I'm really learning a lot from this discussion, very educative. Kobdabos here that was say, and Ernest Danaya, another Dr. Bakus also say solid. Maybe I could come on. You better YouTube. I got fire your comments maybe with YouTube. So they about Miss Spicy Brown. I see. Do you have any information on recalls of certain CPAP machine? I mean, I don't know. Say if you're allowed to do any commercial for any specific company, but I just said if it's something that you cannot speak of, then we can go to our viewers for them to talk. Which is we'll start off with Kwan. But Doc, do you have any recommendations that you can make?
Years ago, there were two major CPAP manufacturers, right? There was one called Philips, and we know that Philips is a big company, right? And then we had ResMed, and they were both good. What happened? They said Philips, went through a recall 2 years ago, and since then, the FDA, does not allow us to even order Philips machines. We can only do ResMed machines, and that's good still. So if you had a Philips machine, NASA won't register yet. You should register, because what Philips will do is they will send you a new device. It might take some months, but they have to send you a new device that is not under the recall, free of charge. And so that's what's going on. But in terms of those who are getting new CPAPs, a few years ago, the sleep doctors have only been ordering ResMed machines, and there's none. They're all good. It's just a matter of different softwares and different algorithms, but they all work really well. But Philips, because of the recall, so say and ResMed, most of the work. But it's a war of Philips device, and make sure you register through Philips, because they'll send you a new one free of charge, because it's their problem and your problem. Recall was their mess up, so they have to get you a new one by law.
Thank you very much, Doc. That was a because you call Facebook, so I feel a boa pia cash money, so say nice one day. All right, Doc. Young fa my phone be Zoom no so and busa like or and I kind of say liquid questions and instead of solid questions. Yeah, you Kwame Ken, Mr. Unmute yourself now. I feel the busa question why. Me patron sabo baswa before the Kwame Ken or baso don mobile so Mr. Quick question or question no ubusa 30 seconds no be so to me and any busa you na a time one ma we'll go for a second round, but we know say your time no is getting closer to the Mr. The next 15 minutes no my try say you be condition no be abetimi abemu be no busa the question no Kwame Ken omi to hona busa question no.
Thank you, and thank you, Doc, also.
You're very much welcome.
My question was, as someone that uses the CPAP machine, I know, like, honestly, I mean, you're using it all the time, but you two are, like, every now and then it tells you, like, an improvement, like how much you stop breathing at night, like it counts the number of times. So, like, at what point, or is there something that you have to use, like, the rest of your life, or is there end to it? That was my question.
Very good question. Yeah, that's a Kwame Ken.
Thank you. That's a great question. So, when it comes to how long, and that's the question I get all the times, the best chance you can give yourself, and obviously it's individualized, but the best chance is to lose weight. So we are normal BMI and you're diagnosed with sleep apnea, yeah, unfortunately, there isn't much that you can do. You probably will have to do this for the rest of your life. But if you are somebody who you are overweight or you are obese, there's a good chance, and that doesn't mean say 100%, because I do have patients that have a normal BMI and still they have sleep apnea, but the vast majority of the patients will be either overweight or obese. And I've had patients that will lose weight, sleep apnea was gone. Or I've had patients that lose weight, sleep apnea went from severe to mild. And when it's mild, treatment, and yet always like necessary. It's the best chance if you're overweight is to lose weight. If you're not overweight, yeah, then unfortunately it's a lifetime thing. Besides that, though, there's another treatment, a partial surgery, a Freno Inspire, and I'm sure so many people will start seeing the commercial about this. And it's a funny, it's a strange, but it works. As a pacemaker, they place surgically on your chest, and what it does when you go to sleep, you turn it on, and it will send electrical signals to your tongue, and so your tongue is moving forward like this when you're sleeping. And this is actually relatively effective. The only thing is that insurance will not cover it unless, number one, you have at least moderate sleep apnea. Once I begin, we can say you're mild, moderate, and severe. So you have to have at least moderate sleep apnea. So what mild that insurance will not cover for that Inspire, procedure. No. The second thing is that you have to have tried CPAP first. The third thing is that you have to have a BMI less than 35. And so those are the criteria they require before, so you can do that. And if you use that device now, if you find insurance approval, now go through that process, now you use that device now, then there's no longer a CPAP that needs to be used, but you will still be dependent on that device for the rest of your life. And there's more time, but there's more information about this.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You record next on the list near Oba. I am Oba Mr. Omito Hona. What's our question?
Hello, PK. Hello, Doc. So, my question is there a correlation between having a large amount, like a large tonsils? I know earlier you mentioned tonsillectomy, but is there a correlation between someone who has a large tonsils and sleep apnea? Because I've noticed that I have younger siblings who at a very younger age, their tonsils is very large, and they snore a lot. So imagine watching a 1-year-old snoring and like so loud that you think it's like an older person. Eventually they went and got the tonsils removed, but is there a correlation between having a large tonsils and sleep apnea?
Okay, Oba, thank you for your question. So there is, but it applies more to children. It was when they were younger, right? So in children, the tonsils occupy a larger proportion of the airway than in adults. And so in children, the tonsils get large, kids will start snoring, and they will actually have sleep apnea too. Kids can have sleep apnea too. And the number one treatment for sleep apnea in children is to remove the tonsils, and their snoring can improve, and they can sleep better. The only thing is that once they grow up now, they can still have sleep apnea, because I'll tell you, like my patients who are 60 and above, at least 50% of them are more tonsils, but they have sleep apnea. So as an adult, the tonsils don't occupy as big of a space enough to always make a difference. There are some people, if they remove their tonsils, if they have mild sleep apnea, it will go away. But as a general rule, it applies more to children than adults. Hopefully, answer don't make sense.
Doc, yeah, that's a very good one from Oba as well. Charles Adair. Me patcho so what busa question we are now lower one son no am I say na yeah feel say bia is still concurrent why. Charles Adair, Mr. Omito Hona busa question my Mr.
Yeah. Sometimes if you are both money come, but I'm a corporate line, so I'm not scientifically no let me want to correct this idea no.
Charles, me patrol bisa question bi ma. O say me say me 2 year. O say sometimes they told be a wo ade wadi kum. O bi so ko prayer line so crampo a na no ayeden. Da o bi so hu say ade end ade sa ade ko ne ba. I think so. Yeah, Charles, what you make? Okay, you're losing Charles. But I think so. Yeah, hello, Charles, what you make? Okay, you're losing Charles to so back if you may man a chance for him to ask the next question. Monica, Mr. Omi to Hona, for question, bro.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, sis.
Now,
Good evening.
sure, me person me who said treatment for obia oda in between you stop breathing for like 30 seconds or something, then continue breathing, then you stop breathing. And no anything.
Mr. Monica, thank you for your question. I think said you're essentially describing sleep apnea. I'm not sure say before is there something different to that than what we've been talking about? Say anytime we talk about say home now jai home now wasa home beam now wasa jai home now wasa home beam no only sleep apnea you can wasem.
Oh, okay. Me ballet so I didn't get much.
Oh, okay. What are you sorry? Yeah, sleep apnea, you know. Yeah, a BBR, you should probably see a sleep doctor. At least bring it up to your primary care physician. Now they might have to have you see a sleep doctor because of that.
All right, Sister Monica. Okay. So let me make this quick announcement. Right, this goes to Sister Monica ne Obi Biara or Obasu late Biara Sesiano. So if I feel Abasua, no problem. I mean, you say Obi schedule you different. But first of all, thank you for coming. It's better late than never. You should say, Pep. This information is still going to be available to you on both Facebook and YouTube. And please go back and just revisit the educative presentation or that might from beginning all the way to the end. And until call Facebook HRETV, and I say YouTube HRETV, and I say TAPTAP Ghana, Obenya video no hold and just rewatch it again, and you see all your questions now. Maybe I'll miss no hold. But again, that without that being said, no questions now. I'm going to answer your info questions, bro. We have about 7 minutes to wrap up the show, and what question be Mr. Fabra Bibi Mr. Yabakwaba or me to Hunebusa question.
Thank you, PK. Thank you to TAPTAP for these sessions. Patrol Doc, you move your night shifts. Most of the time, you work out sana 3-4 hours. Who say apart from that sleep apnea can was them. Yes, so that should be effect Diana. Ayana me dream kakra.
Very good question.
Thank you for your question. That's a very good question, and I think said there were a few people that had the same question on Facebook. And about night shifter, let me just give you a disclaimer. Like the bottom line is that human beings were not made to work night shift. But we live in a society we have to. I could avoid night shift many times through my training. But all that being said, if there was any way for you to get off the night shift and go into first shift, even second shift, you're okay. And I would say go for it. And I know it's a night shift, and especially if you're in healthcare now, you make more money. But at the same time, no. Baby, cost no baby bafem. Yeah, bafem no na unkwana is so take akra. What we know is the problem. So okay, beginning now I spoke about circadian rhythm. Now circadian rhythm, no melatonin, ne bright light, plays a role in that. And the problem is mra wufi juma eba fiano pana. It's bright outside. You are already affecting your brain because what it does is it suppresses melatonin production. Melatonin production. Now, bright light, is suppressing the brain from producing melatonin, and so the quality of your sleep once you get home, will never be the same as the quality of sleep of obia or koda before said okoda numre. And so that's one thing. A solution to that, and I said one thing that I suggest, besides changing to first shift, one thing that I could suggest is that if you to me, wear sunlight when you're going home from work in the morning. Sorry, Mr. Sunlight, I meant sunglasses. wear sunglasses.
Okay,
Wear sunglasses. Yeah, been a long day. Wear sunglasses when you're heading home from work, just so that you can minimize the bright light that goes into your retina and suppresses melatonin production. And the other thing is during the day, most humans have tasks to accomplish. And to the world that when you say you have this to do, you have that to do, you have this to do, it's all that is somehow affecting your brain, and in a way affecting the quality of your sleep too, which is different from okay, there's nothing you're gonna be doing. You're not gonna do anything until you wake up in the morning. And the reality is that we live in a world that a night shift is needed in this world. But again, number one, if you can stop working night shift, you should. Number two, if you can't, wear sunglasses when you're heading home. Number three, if still you have issues, especially for those who have difficulties at work, maybe are more at work and they are in danger of losing their job. There's some FDA approved medications that can help. You have to see a sleep doctor for that. And then obviously you have to do your best to say, make sure that it's quiet, which is difficult during the day if you have a family, but make sure everything is quiet. Make sure your room is completely dark as if it was night, because a room when you're completely dark, your quality of your sleep won't be enough. And there's much more, but time, obviously I can't get into everything, but hopefully can help.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah, that was say for the great breakdown. And I'm on for it. Say, wow, Monica say, wow, I work night. Like I said, man, I be a night shift. I think it's 6 years in a row. I know 5 years, and those was college days. So I thought it was a good way for me to just work nights and go to school during the day, And one day I was driving and I actually fell asleep behind the wheels. And many police car, I'm sorry. So I don't know, say that time, now sleep happening, I say, yo, bro, but nights for the day, your bumper is saying, mama one day. BBC, what is the appropriate time in the evening to sleep and wake up time? Yeah, we are. Yeah, one or two more questions, but by that video, yeah, wrap it up. Now, Doctor, do a final submission. Am I now? Yeah, sorry, to be the so.
So the data that they recently collected regarding appropriate amount of sleep is said the normative data goes from 7 hours to 9 hours. So normal sleep now is considered anywhere between 7 hours and 9 hours. All that being said, there are people who are defined as short sleepers. Who is a short sleeper? Short sleeper, you'll be maybe you'll be 6 hours, 7 hours, and to them that's enough, because during the day they won't feel sleepy, they'll be functional, they'll wake up feeling refreshed, and that's fine. That's part of the normal spectrum. I know being so hard when you're 9-10 hours of sleep, and that's somebody that we call long sleeper. And also actually normal. It's you have to gauge yourself and see. I wouldn't recommend anybody to sleep less than 6.5 hours. Should be at least 6.5 to 7 hours, if possible. And if you need more than 10 hours of sleep, maybe you have sleep apnea or something going on. But that's the normal amount of sleep. Regarding the time, the best time to go to sleep, it depends. It all depends. I mean, I think that if anye nyuma and I say responsibilities are, whenever your body tells you to go to sleep, you should go to sleep. And for most people, it's somewhere between 9 and 10. I don't think there's a clear rule, and I said clear cut a demarcation which might also be at this time. Everyone is different. It gets to a point where your body starts producing more melatonin, and that's the time where your body is getting ready to go to sleep. Nihiane said, you don't delay too much from that point on, and you will feel it. Your body will tell you, say, you want to go to sleep, and I say you start feeling tired. You don't delay too much from that point on. and you try to go to bed as soon as that signal comes. And again, the best time is, if you can, sleep during the night and not during the day, as for those that work a third shift.
All right, doc. Yeah, that's it. That means who's a paper? The artist will be back. Say, or maybe they be that 4 hours, 4 hours. It be that 4 hours. That's a my debut crapper. I tell them at that 8 hours, no. But after the 4 hours, so they need to take that 5. No, so debut man, it has to be another 4 hours for them to be very strong. I don't know any aspect of sleep apnea. And I say just sleep at the normal, irregular, normal body sleep.
Yeah, I don't think there's any science behind the fact say me find so that 4 hours now when it's here, you have to sleep 4 more hours before say your sleep is complete. The reality is that waking up in the middle of the night is actually normal. Many people think say it's abnormal, but it's okay for people to wake up 2-3 times in the middle of the night, as long as you are able to fall back to sleep. It's I've heard some stories of some patients in our kind of so that 4 hours at a time. Now that the first 4 hours and then they're up for a little bit and they go back to sleep. I don't know if there's any science behind it. The good thing is that if you're able to sleep for a good 6 to 7 hours at least, then you're okay.
Okay, Doctor, that's it. You could read the last comments in after the audio or final submission about Joanna. I will zoom. I say, if someone has a CPAP, how often should the equipment be changed? And can one still snore while using the CPAP?
Okay, so the changing equipment, the insurances, they dictate everything. So typically for 99% of insurances, every 5 years, after 5 years has passed, they allow you to change your CPAP, as long as there's evidence that you're using your CPAP regularly. So usually 5 years. All that being said, most DME company, the stores, and that's the company, they provide you the CPAP. They will bill your insurance to get you the CPAP. They'll have they'll have a warranty on your CPAP. So BBC your CPAP within your first year now. As long as you're using your CPAP, they'll replace it free of charge. But unless your insurance, will determine, say, okay, it's been at least 5 years, so we will cover a replacement of the CPAP. Now, regarding the snoring, if you're using your CPAP at an appropriate pressure, you should not be snoring. And I said the snoring should be minimal. It's, if you're wearing your CPAP and you're still snoring now, there's a good chance that the pressure could be adjusted. And so that is something that you might have to bring it up to your provider. There are some extreme cases where sleep apnea is so severe, it doesn't matter. They will still snore even with the machine with the highest pressure, and that's fine as long as the most important goal is as long as the stops in breathing are minimized. But for most people, if the pressure is appropriate enough, the snoring should be minimized, if not completely gone.
Okay, Doc. Yeah, that's it. At this point, Mr. Ramo, say if there's any final question, bounce out to the main forward. Now, if you need Doc and we not Doc into me, because you now will go to a cage, man, put you there, I'll put you there. Don't so to me, on any man called Ego Dijolof, you. Johnson, thanks for your response. I may need to have my machine pressure checked. Thank you. Doc, what was it? Mr. Ross, a question being new, be about my main say if will be a question of Mr. Ross, also now I feel the main fraud not you proceed to it. So, Doc, at this point, and if obey me my final submission, Oba Amanis also Oba Mr. Quick one.
Last quick one. So, another thing is I saw someone get their tonsils removed, and after they got it removed, their whole voice changed. They went from having like a deeper voice to a very high-pitched voice. What is the explanation for that?
Doc, before I answer that question, Mr. Rao, say a possible part of Mr. Me here because me bought 10 and was sorry there and then you cry, you push your back into Mr. Rao. Doc, go ahead.
All right. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not gonna try to make up stuff. Winnie is something that maybe ear, nose, and throat surgeon could be able to give an answer to that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's a BC. It's definitely not something that is common. Most people that go through tonsillectomy don't have that experience. And to know, I'm wondering if it has something to do with the surgery affecting the vocal cords, and somehow no. I'm not saying it's a doctor no, and as a surgeon no make a mistake there, but somehow it has some consequences on the vocal cords. But I'm not the expert when it comes to that, so I'll leave that to ear, nose, and throat surgeon that can maybe better answer that question.
All right, thank you.
And Oba, if you do find out from any ear, nose, and throat surgeon, please let me know. Yes, we are going to. I'll tell you what to say. You put me a high pitched voices, no, at different level.
And you know, I'm put deep voice, you know, the install it,
installation.
Installation of tonsils.
We part selling Dion part in any way, dear no, on your way, Whitney Houston, dear no. And I don't know, person be bomber, man. I'm not percent me voices up, and be two selling your part in the mammo 30 seconds. I'm mommy who would have moved to comment session. I say, but we two mamma was here, and I will be feeling was a yes, what a voice, but now that was an image with this, so that would it in your was soon a bit more or less like a PTSD for you. Dog, yes, sir, at this point, no, Miss Shaw, for our final words, Brad Nafidi, yes, sorry, Jumedian. So our final words as in the meantime, Penica for our last submission, Brad, because your castle can finance the finals, as I said, you cool, but you mean too young, it's for last submission, yeah, for last submission, brother, yeah, yes, sorry, Jumedian. So,
yeah, I mean, me, Kasancha, I mean, I want us to understand, say, even though, say, our culture undermines the importance of sleep, even the American culture does, because American culture, we we idolize the idea, say, oh, I'm grinding, I'm working hard. When somebody else is sleeping, I'm working. We are standing down, you're making money, but you are reducing your lifespan. And so don't underestimate and don't undermine sleep. And that does not only apply to sleep apnea or not sleep apnea, but it applies to even insomnia. Obviously, we didn't have time today, but for you to have a good quality sleep, money here, because it is essential. You say in Ukraine, the American health system is pushing this campaign to add sleep as the third branch of healthy living. We talk about food, healthy food. We talk about exercise. Sleep is the third branch.
Now, mental health today.
And mental health,
I thought it was also part of the healthy living,
Yeah, say mental health and physical health in your healthy living. But the things that you can do to be the best healthy self that you can be, mental health, say there's many things that you can do, but mental health, food, sleep, and exercise play a role to improve your mental health, right? So usually when you go to the doctor, they catch you say, oh, you want to improve your blood pressure, you want to lose weight, make sure you eat well and you exercise, right? You go to any health topic, eat well and exercise.
Doctor,
but the campaign is that we need to add sleep to it.
Doctor, an PK candidate said, one day they're bubble down, right? If you don't sleep, you go nuts. So there's no way.
Yeah, it's all connected.
No, but I think that's a great addition. Thank you. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please go ahead.
Oh no. That's it. So make sure so you don't undermine your sleep. And if you do have sleep apnea, which was the topic for today, Miss Srao, even though say you might feel say you are okay, no, you are not. Multiple accidents are caused by that. Multiple job dismissals are caused by that. There are multiple accidents from a health standpoint, whether it is a myocardial infarction, whether it is a stroke, whether it is anything. All these things, are tightly connected. And make sure, say, you get good sleep and make that a priority going forward.
Doc.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. So and before say sorry, so no, my director, the final way answer that work. But all I want to say is say that was say to yourself out of your busy schedule. nya adagye nya abrani e betra se betwetwe nkomo yi na wo kasa no ka bibi say yes be more no say I'm working whilst others are sleeping, I'm working, I'm saying this na yes now let me to life so that can pay for so na ka say you be pray din am be pray in check enti do pray ba for some of ka no enti say you be pesca no na say you be with the back at least no din be see all say eh ja ko menu ni fie de si ono ka no not so e rap say pa say din no ne be pray da nyin che de
Kaleno.
Canelo dog. Yeah, I was saying, if anything else comes up now, of course we'll call you up for a follow up. Now, before so Dr. David Beban also did the gratitude best twice for you, no. I want to say it's on behalf of the entire production, the show HRTV, and also our producers, Nana Lord, Akwesi Wiseout, and also Danny A Class, and all the producers at large, Thank you very much for taking up this, great. Chance to come and talk to us. Now at this point,
thank you for having me.
Yes.
That, yeah.
At this point, your friend is say, your friend say, "Better run the commercial craft." A producer can say we are. I'm a director can say we are. You better run the commercial craft. You run the commercial as a Facebook and YouTube format. You can use your board on pim. I will Zoom. To us with the Q&A for TAPTAP send. But director. Mr. I will say, we'll find out way beyond episode way before the call. Photos will not be there.
No, I think PK you covered everything. Again, Dr. Stephen Aduyawa, thank you so much. I think there's so much that he's touched on that we don't specifically expand in the culture. So thank you so much for doing that. And one thing that you mentioned said, I think culturally in America, we celebrate, sleep deprivation as a token of, like a badge of honor, right? In Libya, I pulled an all-nighter. That's like a token of success. Oh, so all those things. Thank you so much for bringing it. It's something that we don't talk about. It's something that we don't talk about. So thank you so much for coming. And it's been a very interactive session. I even have people send the messages like internally. We just super grateful. I think maybe perhaps sometime you come back to talk to us about the second phase. I know you mentioned insomnia and other parts.
Insomnia, yeah, it's another important
Thank you so much. Yep, thank you so much. Problem. Because even outside of Unya time, look at that crowd. As PK mentioned, sometimes like mental blockers, you don't get a quality night of sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, thank you so much for making the time. Thank you for my entire team.
Thank you for having me again.
What we do at HRTV is day in day out we bring you guys nothing but great quality because I feel say most some of that jeba na ma be hwa ade a yepese di nema pa ene nepa ene bramo enti ne senti no producers are transie edifidi akeka kefidi sifidi ni amiamia fidi funuma ama fido ma dissect by setting nyina hu say the sleep apnea e we HRTV ye kiono as time goes on sabri ye call time with TAPTAP send actually Q&A section with TAPTAP. You're going to a quick commercial break. You're buying up the Dr. David at the Yang Ashoaso. Madam Master.
Yankutuna Sio Nyameno. Yanana Sia, Wamaya Tamfort Shoko.